Hey everyone, so we're back and we're going to talk about another parable this week. And the parable that we are going to be speaking about is actually found in Luke 15. It's an interesting parable because, to be honest with you, it was a verse I used back a long time ago whenever I was, in high school. My parents were telling me some neat things and creating rules for my life. This is actually a parable that I pulled up, so I wanted to actually come up with some ammunition that I could shoot back at my parents to tell them that they were wrong about something. Not really sure if you guys have ever had this problem, but my parents had I had some friends and my parents did not want me to hang around. Some of those friends might be watching this, so sorry, you know who you are. But anyway, there's some friends and my parents didn't want me to hang around at all. And so they'd say, listen, Doug, I don't want you hanging around whoever. To be honest with you, I think there were some other people in my high school that their parents told them, listen, I don't want you hanging around Doug, because I was not a very good kid. But that's a different story. We'll have another video for that. But what happened is when my parents told me about this, told me I shouldn't hang around them, I started looking for Bible verses that I could use to actually prove them wrong. And I found this very neat Bible verse in Luke 15, and this is what it says, is then all the tax collectors and all the sinners drew near to him, and the Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, this man receives sinners and eats with them. In this particular time, Jesus is actually walking around, he's doing his teachings, and in Luke we hear a lot of parables, and the Pharisees and the religious folk, they started looking around saying, hey, listen, this guy's hanging around with all the bad people. And so I started thinking, wow, you know what, if Jesus could hang around bad people, why can't I? So I looked at this Bible verse and I was going to use that to actually prove how come that I could hang around whoever I wanted to. But I failed to read the rest of it, because if I was honest with you, really what I was doing was I really wasn't hanging around to share my faith or share the gospel or anything else. I just enjoyed what they were doing. I mean, I was hanging out, I was partying, I was doing all this kind of neat stuff, and all of a sudden, it wasn't that I was trying to share the gospel with them, wasn't trying to live out my faith. I just wanted to hang around the cool people. And so as we read this parable, just sort of pay attention that the Pharisees are telling Jesus, hey, listen, you're hanging around all these bad people. The Pharisees had two classes of people. They were either the religious or the sinners. And the sinners you couldn't even touch them, couldn't be around them, because they were just defiled, they were bad. And those were the people that hung around Jesus. So in Luke 15, I would like to read it. It's called the Parable of the Lost Sheep. We have a sheep, just to remind you. It says, then all the tax collectors and the sinners drew near to him, and the Pharisees and the scribes murmured, saying, this man receives sinners and eats with him. So he spoke a parable, saying, what man of you, having 100 sheep, if he loses one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one which is lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends and neighbors, saying to them, rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost. I say to you that likewise there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 just person who need no repentance. Hey, I want to be honest with you, this parable was a little tough on me whenever I was studying it for this video, because I really didn't understand, does that mean he doesn't rejoice over all the ones that are righteous, over the 99 that he leaves in the field? But Jesus is talking to a group of Pharisees that, like I said, have two classes of people. We have the religious, those that have God, and we have those that are the sinners that don't have God. And what happens is that Jesus is spending his time sharing the gospel, sharing his love with those people that the religious folk said were sinners. And to be honest with you, I think there's each of us can say, hey, listen, we don't like that person because they don't meet our criteria as far as being a good person. There's people like that in school. I mean, if you were honest with yourself, I was honest with myself, there's just people I'd rather not hang around because I just don't think they're nice people or good people. And sadly, Jesus hung around those people. But unlike me, whenever I was in high school, Jesus wasn't hanging around those people to do those things. Jesus was hanging around those people to share the gospel. And what he's doing is he's actually sharing his love. He's healing these people. He's meeting their needs and sharing his love with them. That's not what I was doing whenever I was in high school. And so the Pharisees see this and they say, hey, how can you be hanging around these people? But Jesus actually tells them, look, if you had 100 sheep, 99 of them were there and there were one lost, wouldn't you go after the one that was lost? And whenever you find it, wouldn't you actually rejoice over it? Actually putting it on your shoulders and rejoice, bringing it back? I think that's really what our responsibility is. It's what, whenever I've been studying this parable, that's what I see, is that there's some lost people in the world. I don't need to go out and hang out at bars, hang out at parties, and do all that cool, wild stuff that they think's cool. But I do need to be loving them. I do need to be meeting their needs. And as I look over this parable, what I see, what Jesus tries to tell me is, Doug, look, is there some of my lost sheep that you know that you need to be spending more time with? And I started making a list, and I actually came up with 4 or 5 people that I thought to myself, you know what, if Jesus was here, I believe he would be hanging out with these people and he would be sharing his love with them. And so I know that looking over this parable, it's really put a burden on my life for a certain, like 4 or 5 people. And so I would challenge you guys this week to the people that you're hanging around, those people that maybe your parents or you shouldn't be hanging around. Are those people, are those ones that you're actually sharing the gospel with? Are you sharing your love with? Are you trying to be more like them? And so it's nothing wrong with actually hanging around those type of people as long as you're sharing the love of Christ with them, sharing the gospel with them. So my challenge for you guys this week is very simple, is if you can make a list of your friends, the ones that you know that you hang around most of the time, are those people, are those some of Jesus' lost sheep that actually need his love being shared with them? If they are, then maybe what we should be doing is you should begin by praying for them, and you should begin by basically finding out how can I share Jesus' love with them? How can I actually live a life that makes them say, man, I want to have more of a life like that? And so I challenge you guys for that this week. I'm also interested if there's any questions or anything you have or any other ideas that you see out of this parable. Be sure and post it on our Facebook or on our Ant Ministry website. We appreciate you guys staying in and tuning in with us, and we appreciate everything you guys are doing. We're praying for you. Hope you have an awesome week, and we'll see you later.